Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the next game of the MavWar Hype Unity Tournament 2018 right here on Dark Carnival. We have an excellent match ahead of us tonight with two teams both at 2-0 between teams Pink Slip and Team Lemon Party. And joining me tonight for his first cast in a couple years, let me see if I can pronounce this correctly, Mr. Latrol DeShantis? Is
That's right,
that how
my
you
son.
say it? Excuse me?
That's right, my son.
All right, nice. So, Latrell DeShantis, of course, is my fellow captain from Group D. That would be Purple. Purple, how are you this evening?
I am fantastic, ready to bet all on Dusty.
All right, fantastic. I don't know if casters are allowed to bet or if admins are allowed to bet, but both these teams are undefeated. So what's on the line is this: the team that wins this game is going to win their group. This is Group A, I believe, isn't it?
Yes. This is Group A.
Yeah, so this is going to be the Group A winner who goes to 3-0, and then because of how the other two teams, Optimistic Prime and Hate Culture, have done, they've both gone 0-2 so far to get these two teams to 2-0. The other team will still make eliminations, but this is a pretty big game. It's on a map that pretty much is the, staple map of competitive Left 4 Dead 2, being Dark Carnival. Purple, what do you expect from this?
I expect either both teams to wipe like every single map because, yeah, or it'll make every map with like a lot of bonus. That's kind of how MavWar tends to go, I think.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before the cast went live about how the groups have shaken out and some of the other results. It's been interesting to see because in a tournament like MavWar, in most cases, you don't have a whole lot of team cohesion going into it.
Yeah, I mean, only a few teams have even bothered to scrim together this entire, month and a half, 2 months so far.
Yeah, pretty much. I
So
mean, sign-ups opened in January and it's now June, but that I digress. But yeah.
it's essentially like playing a pug and just hoping your team can shoot things.
Yes, and it looks as though chat has indeed noted that it looks as though I am you in the avatar and you are me in the avatar. So we've done a little bit of role reversal, but that's completely fine. Aside from that fact, I would say looking at these two teams in particular, though, they've had many different, I'd say challenges to get here through the tournament, but this, I think, will be the game where we actually see these teams tested because, I mean, custom maps are one thing, and I don't know exactly how many of those are going to be used in the knockout stages, but I'd say Dark Carnival, if you can play that map well, then you'll have an okay chance at doing well in the knockout stage, maybe.
Yeah, well, every group got a different normal map, I think. I mean, our group was Death Toll as the normal map,
Yeah.
and Hard Rain, I guess. But what did Dusty? He played Haunted Forest, Parish, and now this, so that's actually not too bad.
Yeah, he got two, like those. I'd say Dark Carnival and Parish, at least in the tournament history and that kind of stuff. Those maps have typically been reserved for the later stages due to their stability and the fact that people know them. That does beg the question as to what the map rotation is going to be for that kind of knockout. But as you and I are both aware, Purple, Death Toll is one of those maps where there can be a lot of things that happen.
Death Toll is like the best map to play with your like MavWar team versus another team that you feel like you might not win, because then you can just get lucky hittables and win.
Yeah, or just
Or
random.
you can just insert yams on the enemy team, then it's a free win.
I was gonna say you can just have a certain charger land and get charged into a tank when one of your teammates dies that way, and then have a bunch of other stuff like happen. But yeah, Dark Carnival, not as much room for just trench and memery on it as a custom campaign or as Death Toll in particular. I would probably want to see a couple of the other Left 4 Dead 1 maps come out, but the thing is, in a tournament like this where the goal is to build that team cohesion over time, I think Team Pink Slip, who we see on Survivor side we were talking about, they've played together like in the same group and maybe on teams actually for a little while prior to the start of this tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. The names kind of look familiar as them playing together before, but I don't really recall. But either way, both of these teams are 2-0, so this is actually probably the best match out of this group, in theory.
Yeah, and the best team out of this group then is going to play the second best team from Group B, and the winner is going to play the... Yeah, right, so winner plays second best team from Group B, and then the loser plays the winner of Group B, as in our case for Group D, where the winner of our group plays against the second best team from Group C, so on and so forth. So that'll be the way this actually shakes out for those that don't know. And it's important, I would say, because due to the map variety and that kind of stuff, as you mentioned with the death toll example, and, you know, the amount of variables that come into this, it makes for a very, very interesting viewing experience, of course. But as a player, too, it really can depend on the map when you play against a certain team. For example, I don't know if I'd say Dark Carnival if you're playing against a team who you are trying to beat, who you don't think you can. I don't know if this is the map to do it on.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
You need a map where there's hittables and you can pray to the RNG god that your tank gets like massive car on like 3 people and you win because of that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that, like, there are a couple hittables and a couple meme tank spawns in Dark Carnival. For some reason, in, like, 2 out of the 3 matches that I've ever played on this map, like, it's been more than 3, but on at least a couple of them, it's been, like, that 66% map 2 tank spawn where the survivors run into the room on the side and just die.
Yeah, I think almost every match I've seen with that tank, both teams just die to it. I don't think I've actually seen people survive that.
Yeah, I mean, this tank here is 75% theoretic, but the other challenging part about it was, at least for me, in terms of looking at the way that this, you know, the teams coalesce and everybody kind of tries to form cohesion and stuff, things that don't normally do damage can do damage, and things that sometimes are supposed to do damage just simply don't. We don't know how it's going to go, but we are certainly going to tell you as we are going live right here. Team Pink Slip undefeated 2-0, and Team Lemon Party undefeated 2-0 going off in this match. It's going to be Team Pink Slip on the Survivor side and Team Lemon Party on Special Infected. Boomer gets popped. Smoker Pole goes out. Charter does manage to land. Jockey's going to almost land that intercept. That would have been a ridiculous tri-cap to start, Purple.
Reloading.
Yeah, they still got a little bit of damage though. The Smoker landed and the Jockey got some scratches. Imp has very high ping. Wow, he's actually in the red ping there for a second.
Yeah,
but
I think
either way, that was, you know, pretty good handling of the first hit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he was dropping back down during that. That might have explained some of the fact that like that 3-cap almost landed. But the Witch also gets taken out of play right there on the UMod config. As I would like to remind the viewers, we'll talk about some of the alterations that's brought to the tournament as well. I'm sure at some point in the cast. We have another hit coming in though from Team Lemon Party. Boomer, Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger. Purple, do you think they hit here? Or do you think they wait?
There's no way they hit here. Yeah, they're gonna wait for the classic bridge hit. I feel like they were hoping they'd run up to grab a melee or something, then they could pull the guy off that, but...
Searchlights. That's the first sign of life we've
I
seen
feel like
in
that's
100
when you
miles.
see that hit kind of go in, if they can try to catch the Survivors off guard, but the Survivors obviously playing it pretty close together, and I think they're actually running... Yeah, they are running a 3-1 setup, so the classic 1 shotgun, 3 Uzi. Hit is going to go in, though, right now. Trice is going to get pulled, but does manage to self-clear. Hunter lands on the side with a tri-boom as a Charger whips in the back and gets a punch. That's an okay amount of damage spread, I'd say, for that hit.
That's pretty good. I think the Charger went a little too fast, though. Something you see a lot when you just jump in with the Charger at full HP and charge into the air and hope you
I
hit
got some
them.
ammo right here.
I mean, that sometimes works when it does it in that regard. I mean, the thing that we've also been seeing, I'd say, throughout this tournament is that when you have hits like that go in that don't necessarily have the spitter to maximize damage, I don't know if, like, the full-on, like, hey, we're going to try to land a 3-cap on them and still do well, even though we can't get that, you know, charge spit. I haven't seen that many hits do that well, but we do have another hit coming in here. Nice double cap in the front. This actually is a quad cap attempt, and that is going to be a 3-cap on it, but a clear goes out by Reflector onto one of those Hunters. The Jockey almost managed to get that wipe in Purple. That was very close.
That was, you know, Ellis went for the clear on the Hunter and kind of ignored everything else, which wound up working out, surprisingly. But, like, they were so separated for no reason at all. 2 guys up front were a mile away from the 2 guys in the back.
I'm reloading.
I think they were trying to, like, I think they were trying to get past the alarm car, and then one person in the back was waiting to see exactly where they were gonna go. But as you mentioned, that separation with some great capitalization from Team Lemon Party, and the tank is up in the hands of Nimzo as this Charger is going to land with a spit on top of it onto Ellis in the back, but the spit actually misses the Survivor. This is pretty good pre-tank damage, I'd say, Purple, for this rock tank opportunity.
This is good damage. Nimzo's the tank, though, and I don't know if he's actually ever gotten up on this roof before.
Looks as though he is making
He
his
actually
way
got
up there.
top.
Yeah.
So the question here is does he play a full rock tank? I feel like Dusty wants him to play a full rock tank.
Probably, yeah, because, I mean, they've already got the bleeders going out, but let's actually find out what they are talking about doing and take over to our first warmer of the game for Team Lemon Party.
Shoot the tank!
You could keep the boomer from the LOS if you want. You ready, Charger?
Yeah.
Let's go. Wait, next rock.
Who the hell do you think you're shooting?
I didn't even hear him pick up the first rock.
I'll hold on to these pills.
Stand at the edge, Nimzo, and look at them. Just keep standing at the edge. Just keep getting sight.
You'll have to commit.
Yeah, no, you just need to stand in the open and stare at them. You're just LOSing yourself. Do you want to keep trying to play long, or do you want to risk it, or do you want to go in? All right, let's just hit for him again. They're gonna try to LOS you. Just make sure you stay at the edge.
Reloading.
Start going in after this rock. Drop down.
Should I go in?
Yeah, you have to
You're
go.
gonna have to.
Go.
Take him.
I'm reloading.
Reload. Reloading.
Reloading.
Reload.
Drop, that was mine.
You just gave up your whole first.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the first tank of the game, 14 Lemon Party, in the hands of Nimzo, committing on second pass, 5% AI. Purple, what'd you see there?
I think we can kind of agree on this. That was a really questionable decision by Dusty's team to kind of send in the best hit they possibly could have had for that tank and pray that they would get a rock off of it.
You make sure you use
Yeah.
this now.
I mean, they had that, like, Smoker Charger Jockey 3-cap, and they sent it when he was at, like, 80% on second pass. Smoker gets clear, Charger looking for something from the back, probably to intercept. Rochelle, and actually chest bumps Rochelle for an in-cap in the spit. I mean, Team Pinkslip had taken a good amount of damage from that tank, but they only, you know, pretty much took a punch and a little bit of, like, auxiliary SI damage from that.
You know, from map 1 versus Dusty's team, I wouldn't feel too bad if I was in there. This is not a horrible bonus.
No, and I mean, they used that tank as the opportunity, too, to recover from a little bit of that early separation, because they took that massive hit in the hotel, and then they were able to, like I said, shut down that tank. And again, traditionally in that area, you know, if you're playing full rock, that's one thing, but the commit needs to have the right set of spawns. And I think their idea was just to bleed them out as long as possible, but now with all survivors still fast and 2 survivors with a good amount of permanent HP, these survivors on Pinkslip are looking to take this hill against a Hunter, Smoker, Jockey, and a Spitter. Hunter's pre-spawned to the left on that bush, Jockey on the right, and they're baiting it out as long as they need to. Now they know where everything's spawned. They're probably fearing a quad cap, though, I would say, at this point. And the survivors are actually going to move to the left-hand side to try to pick these SI, and Rochelle's going to be in the back. Hunter's going to land. Jockey goes in, Smoker gets a pull onto Nick. Jockey looking for the intercept, but Trice getting the clear. That was a nice amount of survivor movement, Purple, I would say, there to avoid a lot of damage on that hit.
You know, there's a thing that I've kind of seen from Left 4 Dead where literally, if you like run around clueless as to the SI, you actually dodge them more effectively than if you know they're there. Every time I see a jockey try to get a guy that's not looking at him, you just can never get him.
You suck at shooting.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because in that case, right, you're expecting the survivor to either turn around MC or do something, but we do have Team Pinkslip making the safe room with a 657 total point score for map 1 right here of Dark Carnival. And as you mentioned, I think that's about a mid-range map 1 where there was no wipe and that kind of stuff. Obviously, some teams can try to score about, like, close to 1K on this map, but again, not a bad start, I would say.
Yeah, I think your average probably score for that tank is going to be 850 points, give or take a little bit. So 650 is not horrible, considering how much damage they took in the motel.
Let's go on these pills.
Exactly, yeah. Now, as we are going live here, one of the things in this tournament, too, has been trying to find that balance as a team in terms of shutting down SI. We'll see how Team Lemon Party does, because obviously Dusty, one of the best survivor players in the game, you know, he's going to actually get boomed right here on that start. Smoker Pulse going to go out as well. Jockey in from the back, looking to land that cap. Not going to land. Charger goes for the long charge as well. Smoker gets a repull, but does get insta-clear. That's a nice shutdown to start.
Yeah, the Charger kind of didn't have his spawn when his other Xbye went in. He got it super late, so that was good for the survivors. They didn't have to worry about him until the very end.
Exactly, yeah, and I mean, if SI are not able to get those kind of coordinated hits together against teams of, you know, with some kind of parity introduced, that's going to be unfortunate for them. That Hunter tries to troll that Witch Crown right there, but Dusty gets it and is now pushing that Hunter to the left-hand side. And looks as though they're going to send a hit here. Boomer is going to get popped. Smoker gets a pull in the back, but again, nicely cleared. Hunter goes in and does get seated by Dusty. M2 on that jockey. That was a pretty fast hit.
You know, it's nice to try and get as many hits and get as much damage as possible, but there are certain choke points that you have to hit on to actually get proper damage. So, like, they're going to get a free bridge now.
Yeah, and the bridge hit's one of the more precarious hits for the survivors on this map, and they are going to push their way straight through with only 2 points of damage on the board so far for Team Pink Slip, and they have a Charger, Boomer, Hunter, and a Spitter for the next. But I think the survivor pacing right now is a bit ahead of the Special Infected.
Ammo here.
Yeah, it's, you know, you send one bad hit in, and then you can just power through the rest of the choke points.
Ammo up here.
I could start panicking, don't know where to actually go, so then you give up half the map.
Yeah, and that's actually what we're seeing here. The survivors have reached almost that half the map mark at, like, what, 43% or something, and they have an alarm car to deal with. They have absolutely, like, almost no damage going out onto them, except from, like, common chip and that 2 points of damage, as I mentioned before. And now they can bait as long as they want, again, trying to control that kind of pace. We've got Dusty in the front, being shadowed there by Nimzo, and this Hunter's gonna go in, trying to land. Boomer spawns up below, does manage to land right there. Pounce goes out, Charge goes in, but gets sidestepped by Dusty, and the spit actually misses off the side.
Hey, look out.
That is unfortunate.
You know, that really kind of felt like a fuck strategy hit there. They're like, the alarm car is here, let's try and hit on this, rather than going, like, further in with the Charger in one of the rooms.
Yeah,
So,
I mean...
They're gonna go into this tank with basically no damage.
I was about to say that, actually, because I was like, okay, they've got a Hunter, Jockey, Boomer, to Smoker. Boomer does manage to go and gets a nice tri-boom. We may have accidentally caster cursed them, because that smoke is still going out, as that Hunter's going to get a couple scratches as well. That's a little more respectable going into the tank. Obviously, not the same amount of damage that Team Pink Slip took on Survivor's side, but that makes more sense now.
Reloading.
Yeah, that was a little bit better in terms of actually getting together. But they still, like, they had, what, 2 full end caps on the other team when they made safe rooms, so they have
Oh,
to
Dusty's team's going back.
Interesting choice here.
Huh. And I think they're going to shut down that Charger and that Hunter. The tank is in the hands of Trice for Pink Slip, and it looks as though Dusty's turning back around, looking to get Chip here, and that Smoker isn't going to be able to pull him. This tank is committing, so we're going to keep it here. He manages to get a punch onto Dusty right there. There's a comment on Coach as well. He's still at 5,600 HP, pushing and getting another hit onto Coach, and he's just going to be completely in. 4k HP though. Imagine to get a down onto Nimzo right here as he completes that in cap. Dusty's team still running around. Tank is decommitted. Smoker, Charger, and a Jockey. He's going to go for that hittable. He absolutely needs to go for that hittable at this point. Smoker is going to go in there and is not going to be able to delay that pickup. This is a wild change right here from what we saw from Team Lemon Party when they were on Infected, I should say, because this tank in the hands of Trice is now pretty much caught out. He got the down right there, but that was a risky play, Purple.
You know, I was gonna say it was bad for that tank to go in, but then he kind of got lucky with Coach kind of trapping himself, more or less, like outside of the pool.
Ammo here.
And then I think the tank honestly should have just kept going in. He went for a car to try and get a kill, but you're never gonna get that.
Yeah, and I mean, in that spot right there, he pretty much had the survivors, you know, semi-bottlenecked in that short area where he got that initial corner. Hit gets shut down in the background as we watch Trice move his way towards these hittables, but he's bot now, and I mean, okay, the exchange that the survivors made is that they're gonna have to retake, you know, the map that they already went through, but they brought it back and only took about an in-cap from that.
I got some ammo right here.
It could have been better, like way better for the survivors, and then that Coach got kind of stuck somehow, some way, so then it could have been like 10 times worse, and it wasn't. So all in all, not too bad, I guess.
Can always use these.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it because usually, especially with the health that Team Lemon Party had, that open area right there, if they can LOS correctly, would have been, you know, pretty easy to shut down that tank as long as they don't get completely ganked by other hits. But we do have a nice double cap going in right here, as that's going to be a charge spit going out onto Sepia, and a reset pull onto Rochelle, and now, you know, the other part of the calculus we got to put in is they're going to take damage right there, and then the SI are going to have a pretty strong hit for when they drop, most likely.
Yeah, so that dropped him down to about 500 bonus, so they're still up 300 points if they made safely like this. So it really, the whole hit doesn't really ever do damage unless you somehow get double charged. Oh, and they got a 2-2 for this hit, so... Well, they do have a charged hit, so they might be able to get probably another 100 points here maximum, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and it looks as though they're wanting to send it nowish. That jockey spawns up on top. Charger doesn't quite have a spawn, but might be able to get one on the hill now. This is strange, because Dusty's already dropped like that. The jockey got chipped, and the jockey is still just trying to make noise over there. Boomer and the Spitter for these other couple hits, and this jockey is just getting shot as the survivor's bait. Dusty has now dropped down and manages to pop that Boomer. Rest of the survivors watching each other up top, and it's just the Charger kind of now over by the side trying to land a free charge. Very staggered hit from Team Pink Slip here, but the Charger's going to actually fail his rocket spawn, I think, going in, and they're going to save for the other hill.
I'm a reload.
You know, that was an awkward scenario for them, because Dusty was just sitting on the hill there, and the infected didn't really know what to do. Like, the jockey kept running in and then running away taking damage.
Yeah, I mean, you would have... Oh, shit! That Charger's gonna land an open free charge into the field. Excuse me, that caught me a little bit off guard, but that's gonna be a full in-cap going down onto Sepia, unfortunately, and that's gonna change things a little bit.
That was insane that even happened.
Oh, you won.
That, yeah, like, you know, that dropped them 100 points, like I was kind of expecting on the drop hit, but, you know, a free charge in the middle of wide open?
I mean, like I said, that Charger, I don't know if Alex just got caught out not looking for it, but the survivors are trying to push past the alarm car right now, as there is a hit in the queue though. 14 Pinks with a Smoker, Spitter, a Boomer, and a Jockey. Jockey going in, not really able to land much of anything. Boomer though is gonna get popped right there off the Smoker pole onto Elk in the back with a stick going down, and it looks as though Rochelle is gonna get hoarded a little bit right here. Dusty is already in the safe room, and his team is trying to follow him in, but now everyone's coming back to clear those common. That's gonna do some more chip damage onto that bonus.
Yeah, so, you know, aside from that little tank mishap with Coach and Sepia eating that free charge there, that wasn't a bad map win from Dustin's team either. I'd essentially call this an even game, even though it's a 100-point lead.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because, you know, the tanks right there were pretty much the non-issues in some points, where it's like Nimzo's rock tank did a little bit of damage from it, and then tries to be able to get it down from his when the survivors went back. But those hits in between that we saw, where we saw like the multi-cap on Team Pink Slip on their survivor side, and then like you said, that free charge and a couple of the other just residual damage hits they were able to get, that's been the major, like, the difference, I would say. And this tank, I'm sorry that I said it at the top of the cast, because this is damn close to it. 64%.
This is the make it or break it tank, pretty much. You just pray that you can shoot him down and he doesn't get dumpsters in that side room.
Is this the one where if you go on the roof, can you push up to that other spot, or is this like...
I think this might be right at the ladder, right when you're climbing up.
Oh god.
And so if you try to push forward, there's going to be common and all that.
Now see, just from my general perspective on this, in a situation like this with the parity that we've talked about, I would actually like to be on infected side first here, because I have seen a little bit of a discrepancy, like not a massive one, I'm not sure exactly how, but they're even on carried off, which, you know, was Group D's map for this week. You know, the tank spawn percentages have been a little wonky, where I think we played it once where, like, it was supposed to be a tank, like, spawn after the event on map 2 carried off, right? And then it was actually before. So if this one hits at a point for the survivors where they can't get back that other room where the tank spawns right up there and can intercept them, this is going to be a wild tank fight for the first survivor team.
You know, this tank is ridiculously hard to kill, even with like really good teammates, like in a high level game. So a MavWar game with this tank spawn, I don't know if you'll actually even be able to kill this tank or not.
Yeah, see, that's the reason why that I wanted to like if it were me in Pink Slip's position, for example, I would actually be okay with being behind, you know, 100-odd points going into the second map of a 5-map campaign, especially Dark Carnival, because whereas Dark Carnival is supposed to be one of the more stable campaigns, you know, shit like this happens, you can't really be like, you can't be 1,000% sure of how the tank fight's going to go, because if the survivors try to push up, it also depends if the SI have a hit, of course, because if the survivors try to push up and even spawn that, then they won't be able to take the roof or anything near it if the survivors have a hit, and they can also get intercepted by the hit if they try to transition back to that room where people usually fight it.
You know, this is the double-edged kind of tank spawn too, because on Infected, if it doesn't spawn where you think it spawns, you hit, and then you don't have spawns, and the survivors can get to a good spot. So, I feel like the Infected have to hit in the park area. And
Yeah,
they
right,
just keep spawns the whole time and just hope.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. And of course the advantage is if you are on Special Infected second, you'll know, or if you're on Special Infected first, I should say, you'll know, one, where the tank itself exactly spawns when survivors trigger it, and the actual location of the tank when it spawns, and you'll have a better idea of what to do on survivor side of what's going to work or not. If you're in Dusty's position, it's kind of like, well, I guess we go and we try to spawn it, and then kind of see what happens. It's kind of hard to predict with this exact tank spawn what's going to happen with that. I've seen people try to fight it, you know, in the ammo room as well, but
The ammo room's okay, but the only thing with it is you're guaranteed to get punched really fast in there, right? Like when you're sitting on the boxes in the side room, the tank has to jump up, and if you kind of move a little bit, he misses the punch, then he has to climb up there and kind of crawl through it.
Sorry, chat's being asked to give Purple their energy to keep him from falling asleep.
Wow. Tell Dusty to put on a show for me, and I won't be falling asleep.
I mean, hey, it's only been the first map so far, and to be fair, in a game like this where you have two teams that are both undefeated in their group and also who are going to be advancing to the knockout stages, it could be a back and forth game. But the other thing I've noticed on Dark Carnival, it didn't happen necessarily in this game, but like you can also have a lead kind of be built over a couple chapters, and then you just defend that the rest of the game as well, instead of it being classic back and forth.
Yeah, and well, see, the fun thing about this tank spawn is, depending on what level of player gets the tank, it could be an easy wipe for one team, and then like you don't wipe them with the other team.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm just gonna say it because maybe in Dusty's case, right, this is probably the tank that Dusty does not want on SI side. I would
Dusty
say.
does not want this tank because in his mind it's probably a guaranteed wipe tank, right? Like he wants a more crucial map 3 or map 4 tank. But on the other hand, if some other player gets the tank and doesn't wipe with it, and then the survivors make safe room and Dusty's team can't do that, they're down like a whole map and like 700 points.
Yep, exactly, and that'd be the scenario that you don't want. And obviously, some tanks prefer fighting it, like, you know, fighting as tank when they're closer to the survivors. Others prefer hittables, others and that kind of stuff. In a situation like this, instead of having, you know, tank situations like that where each player is going to be of equal weight or close to it on the team because of the intended, you know, parity, as I said before, in the teams of different players of different levels and that kind of stuff, it's just not the same as being able to say, hey, who cares who gets this tank? We're going to do the same thing every time.
Yeah, this is also one of those tanks that requires really quick thinking because it's very situational with what goes on in that small room. Other tanks you can be like, alright, you're just going to run in and punch people.
Exactly. We do have the first hit coming in as we start map 2 right here. That Boomer got M2'd, and then a Charger did land in the safe room. The Boomer vomits on no one and then gets a double proxy back inside. And then the Jockey's going to go in with a smoker right there just for a little bit more residual chip. Not a whole lot of damage going out right there, and the survivors baited that pretty well.
Yeah, you know, this is kind of one of those things, like Dusty's obviously the captain, the best player on his team, and all the SI keep trying to go for him. Like, if you're the other team, I'd say you just send your tappers that aren't guaranteed to land on the other players.
Alright, weapons!
Yeah, I mean, you just literally, I remember we were playing a scrim against, I think it was actually Dusty's team. I said, alright guys, I got the super secret strat, and I just wrote down smoke Dusty, and then that was just the way that it went. Hunter, Jockey, Boomer, and a Charger, and the survivors back up. That's the other thing. They just got baited out. That Hunter does land a pounce, I should say, and the Charger misses, but that's another example, I think, of the SI being a little bit too eager because the survivors just went forward, everything came from the front, and then were able to hold S and just kill that hit.
Yeah, they didn't even wait until they were like in the tent area where it's a lot easier to surround them and do damage, so you know, I wonder who's actually making the shot calls on the Simba's team right now.
Reloading!
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend if they know how Survivors are going to play it as well on a specific team. We do have a pounce going out in the front right there with a jockey trying to land in the back. Does manage to land on Dusty for a split second as the other clear on the smoker does go out as well. And now I think we probably do see Pink Slip save this hit.
This is where if you have a spitter, you kill it immediately. Or you could even... Well, no. I don't think it's worth it to get like 20 damage as Survivors run through spit. So they have a spitter, they have a charger. This tank it's gonna be up top.
Yeah, the spitter is going to pre-spawn, but they're setting the hit. Charger's going to go in there, missing a charge onto Nick. Hunter goes in as well, and I don't agree with sending that hit.
Yeah, so now here's the thing. This tank, if it spawns where you think it's gonna spawn, it's gonna get shot for like 2,000 damage.
Survivors have taken the roof, and it is this tank. Okay, so now I think it's going to be an insta-commit, and we're going to keep it here again, because it looks as though impressive is just going to roll straight in on the Survivors right there, who are still trying to get into that corner. He gets his corner, though, on to Nick. Another punch going out. There's going to be the down on to Nimzo, and the support's going to come in. We do have a Smoker getting its tongue cut right there, and then a jockey shut down. Smoker gets through as well, and Dusty's going to kill the Charger as well, so everything got shut down, but now the tank is going to turn back around, pushing Coach out, it looks like, trying to get that rock, but throws the rock over the hoarded Coach's head. Going back in right now, trying to keep Dusty busy, but Sepia is all the way down below, and Dusty is alone with this tank. They're going to have a couple of spawns. The tank has 6 HP. The tank has 6 health right now, dropping back out. Sepia's managed to work her way back up. Smoker isn't going for a pull, gets cut by Dusty once again. Jockey's going to get shut down right there as well. Cutting the tongue for like a 3rd time in this tank fight. Dusty literally just saved his entire team. He shut down all 3 of the SI support, 2 of his teammates got solo cornered, and then the tank wasn't able to catch him.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean by situational. As soon as those 2 Survivors were down, he should have gone down that stairs and just punched Coach down. Let Dusty pick up his team, that's fine. You still have a full in cap on the bottom there.
Yeah, I mean, he almost landed that rock onto Coach down there as well, where it's like then he would have gotten like 3 downs had he been able to push down the slide. But that was just an example, too, of all the SI. I think they were probably scrambling in that situation, like you said, because it is so situational. Smoker's going to spawn up there, knocking down to land. We do have a double boom going out. Jockey looking to come in as well. We do have the Smoker pull into the corner right there, not into Spit, however. And I would say if those SI were able to come maybe from different directions, because the Smoker, the Charger, and the Jockey pretty much all came from the slide, if they were able to put some variety into it after that tank got its first down, it would have been even better for them. But instead, Team Lemon Party are going to keep pushing their way through this map.
Yeah, I mean, the tank had a full in cap, he plus 3.6k, and then he was having another guy getting punched, and he still had 3k HP. Like, those SI could have just waited, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that single boom's gonna go out. Charger's gonna go in, but misses again a Survivor who's pressed up against a wall. We're gonna have that Spit go down on to nothing right there, and the Jockey also got melted. And now, though, I mean, okay, I think the big variation we're gonna see, not to call it too early, is that Lemon Party is gonna make sure they have a hit for when their tank commits there.
Oh, absolutely. They're gonna have full spawns. Probably even a boomer that's gonna sit right behind, I don't even call it, but essentially on the vents where you can't see him, and then he just spawns and Survivors are running up the stairs and just booms them as they run by.
Yep, yeah, either there or maybe even one where it's like if Survivors are trying to push too far up, like maybe on that lip next to the slide or something.
Yeah, they could even do that. Well, no, they won't be able to. Survivors won't be able to make it that far. The tank will make it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and then also the other choice is do you push the 2 who are running down the stairs away from you, or the 2 who are, you know, cutting back near the radiator air conditioner thing, right?
That tank did that, and actually it was good because it kind of baited Nimzo and Elf to run towards him, and so he got a free early punch on Nimzo, I think.
I'll bag you up on that.
Yeah, I mean, he got the early punch and then managed to get that down, and then it's just a spacing thing as well. We'll see what Team Pink Slip are able to do on the Survivor side, though, as they rush out of the stage from here. Jockey is going to land for a split second as the Boomer gets popped, and this Charger has missed his spawn.
You know, this has been a consistent team throughout this past map and a half. The Charger is just always late or doesn't even spawn for both teams now.
Reloading.
Yeah, and I would say that, like, in a situation like this, where if the Charger Like, because obviously the conventional wisdom is you try to not have the charger lead in, but if the chargers are missing like short drops from above survivors and charging against the wall and that kind of stuff, then the damage potential is really lowered for a lot of these pits, if it can spawn, of course, as we mentioned. And again here, they're going to have a charger, jockey, hunter, and no spitter with that boom instead. Looks as though 2SI are waiting for the survivors to come further inside.
I'm a reload.
Yeah, this is a let them run inside, drop the boomer and jockey from the back, and the other side come from the front idea.
Boomer spawns up, is going to get a single boom right there. Charger goes in solo, however, and does get melted. The other two pinners going in are going to have that hunter landing in the corner. Jockey going, managing to land a jock in the front, but again, pretty fast clears, and now Team Pink Slip have taken a pretty negligible amount of damage so far, I would say.
Yeah, see, their charger comes from the roof, because then you don't get shot when you're coming in, and the hunter comes from the front. That's what they probably should have done there. They actually want to get a lot more damage.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say with that too is that if you have the chargers coming in from above the survivors like that, it's less time where you can't just one-shot a charger out of the air. Then they can drop in and try to get some kind of like, you know, not a surprise on the survivors, something like that, but have a way to just like shortest amount of distance between that charger being seen and then landing on the survivors to get that damage instead of having to come in from a while away.
Sophia might get spotted here. She pre-spawned her hunter in the corner and is hoping the bush kind of conceals her.
But she actually made noise on that one where I think she figured that out and managed to get out of that situation. And looks as though Dusty's team are going to hit on this witch potentially, but actually thought better of it. They have a quad.
They have a quad, which they might even, you know, they might even try for it now, to be honest.
They're going to. Oh, they're absolutely going to from the way those hunters just spawned up, right? The charger's going to do what I talked about. Jumping in from the front. Madden land on the coach. One hunter is going to land. Smoker did land as well, but there's the clear going out onto one of the hunters in the back as well as that charger in the front. I mean, that's another high risk, high reward kind of play right there as two survivors are trying to chase that smoker. And Elk is going to get picked, actually, so that's going to be the entire hit down.
But that was the tank player, so now they're going to have full spawns when this tank runs in. And Nick's not even up top yet.
No, this is going to be bad.
They cannot even take the tower.
This is going to be real bad for Team Pink Slip, I think, but they're going to have to fight the tank right here. He's going in, tank in the hands of Elk God. Again, no Worm, unfortunately, because it's happening way too fast. The transition, missing a punch onto Ellis right there, and starting to get melee. The residual common are mostly dead, but now the melees are going out onto him, and that's a dead tank. We have a double cap going out in the back. Now it's a 3 cap, but again, not the wipe. They got the reset onto Simba, but Purple, that tank died so fast.
It died fast, but guess what? They're going to try and take this drop, and they're going to each take 20 damage if they do it.
They got to go back around the other way.
Oh, no.
Ellis? Oh, okay. Ellis just tried to, again, jump off that thing, but he manages to kill the jockey. Smoker's going to spawn in. Yeah. Yeah, that's another down. That's going to be 2 down onto Team Pink Slip right there, plus a ladder choke to retake. They're going to try to get them up as fast as possible here. Spitter's going to spawn up as well. Jumping in, hitting Rochelle, is going to die right there, but Reflector is again in spit. That was really close. Now it's a lot of damage going out. So even though the tank itself didn't do a massive amount, they're trying to make him black and white as well. Not quite going to get it. That's a lot of damage for him.
Reloading.
You know, it was looking really good for the survivors until those two guys in the back both got capped and the guy got jockeyed off. That jockey reset just causes massive damage because you either have to run around or you have to drop and take like 20 damage each.
Yeah, looks as though they were trying to hit the top of the ladder right here to keep that pressure on. Charger spawns up, managing to land a charge onto Rochelle right there with a spit going down on top of that. Boomer gets a double boom in the back as well, and that jockey was essentially just a distraction. However, important part is the Team Pink Slip are still on their feet. They're going to have everybody fast for a couple more seconds. It seems actually impressive just went slow, so actually that's not going to be true anymore. They're going to probably get one more set of pills, I think, in that pill cabinet, but now Purple, they got to go fast.
Yeah, this is the old, I think it was Fig Newton's, the gotta go fast vine. Whenever he would play, he'd just stand that after he hits her down. It's, I mean, yeah, I don't think, did they get a set?
Are they? They're not even, they're not shopping the room. They're just going to drop straight down here with the smokers flying up in the back. Jockey going in again to lead. Charger's going to whiff, however, onto Rochelle. Boomer gets a single boom, and that's a hit shut down, but they do have one survivor slow, and this is not an event you can hold out anymore in UMOD.
No, you have to full street run the whole thing, so he's going to be limping the entire event. Yeah, Rochelle went ahead and took the pills, so... I'm going to go ahead and say they'll probably make the safe room, barring, like, them taking a massive tri-cap here, but it's not going to be anywhere close to the...
Look how split they are, though.
Yeah, you know, this is map 1 all over again at the motel. The fast guys are just holding W, and they don't know a guy in back who's literally making 0 distance.
Yeah, I mean, they had a precarious position right there if the Infected had decided to capitalize on that, because I think, as you mentioned, the two people who were fast in the front were just very, very far. Instead, they're just going to wait for the survivors to get hoarded, I think, here, and I do believe they have hit the carousel, so they might actually bait it out, but they have 3 bleeding and only the permanent HB on Trice.
Reloading here.
Yeah, they did hit the button, but they're running forward. Rochelle is all by her... Okay. Oh. So the jockey gets coached there, and then the hunter pounces him, effectively taking his target. It actually worked out because he was in the spit there, but that could have been a double tap attack if Rochelle charged up front. That might have even have been a wipe if that happened.
Yeah, I think it was pretty close. It's unfortunate that we saw that target steal right there, and that's going to be Team Pink Slip once again making the safe room right here. It's going to be a total score of 1870 to 1326 going into map 3 of Dark Carnival right here. And yeah, the advantage actually was for Team Lemon Party because they were able to secure that tank spawn as well, essentially have the tank insta-commit because the survivors didn't push all the way up to start, and that yielded them about a 400-point advantage on this map so far. But again, we got 3 more maps to go, obviously including that famous Dark Carnival finale that does not often get played in pugs. And there's still a lot that could go in either team's direction at this point.
Yeah, especially with this tank spawn on map 3,
You got your wish, Alice.
26%, so there's the potential for one team to get wiped, the other team not, and then they make a bunch of distance points.
This is where you make out with your girlfriend.
Yeah, and at this point, the whole conversation around score differential and that kind of stuff doesn't mean anything anymore, because, again, both these teams are going to be representatives in the playoffs from Group A, and it's going to be Team Lemon Party on Survivor side defending a just over 500-point lead, and Team Pink Slip on Special Infected to start. Simba Tank, Jockey Smoker, Spitter, and a Charger. Purple, what do you think they're going to do here?
You know, they'll probably just try and wait until they're actually outside, pull a guy against the rail, and charge him. I don't see anyone ever get any damage when they go inside where Rochelle is right now. Yeah, so the Smoker's going to pull from the front there. They're going to try and pull a guy and basically cover from the sides.
I think that actually might work if they're able to get that. But the thing is, I think it might work if they're able to pull Rochelle to the point where the survivor right behind her wouldn't be looking. But they're doing a pretty good job, like positionally on Team Lemon Party, I would say, where you've got Dusty in the front trying to set the pace and kill whatever he can from that direction. And then almost all shotties in the back as well. He is going to get pulled right there. The clear did go out. Charger going for punches, I think, and actually managing to land 2 of them as Dusty gets re-pulled, but no massive damage on that either.
No, Dusty had a survivor right next to him to clear the tongue, so that didn't matter. And Spitter was nowhere near to actually spit on the target. Before. So it was like a good idea, but just kind of bad execution with it.
Exactly, yeah. And this tank is going to be a 26% spawn, so that's actually going to be, like, near the mouth, I would say, of the spawn room. Spitter, Charger, Boomer, and a Jockey. I'm not sure. Is this the one that spawns on the catwalk? I think it is.
You know... It might, but I think it would spawn in the door side of the catwalk, not in the middle.
See, yeah, that's the one that I remember seeing sometimes where it spawns in the middle of that catwalk where the survivors can rush in and force like an insta-commit. I think Team Pink Slip are looking to hit beforehand though. Spitter, Charger, Boomer, Jockey, and there it is actually.
It did, yeah.
Yep, that is that spawn. I mean, obviously, Team Lemon Party don't want to push in and just death rush that tank essentially and try to kill it that way. They do have a Charger not landing there, but the tank is right here, and he's gonna have to push these survivors back through some spit, almost landing a rock onto Dusty, and Dusty's gonna push him again. Seeing some aggressive survivor play from his side too. Purple, this has been a very interesting tank spawn arena so far.
Yeah, I think he thought the spit blocked them, and so if he just pushes them, they run through it and take like 20 damage, but it didn't. There was a little spot on the right side they could have run by.
Exactly, yeah. And actually, we are going to take it over to a Team Pink Slip war room right now, because I think they're going to stack a hit and then probably commit their tank. So let's send it right on over.
Help.
Nice boom. Nice double punch. Nice. Get that, get that. Nice tank. Stop to pick up jockey.
Let's not mess this up by shooting each other. Okay? Hey, I need some help over here.
Damn! I need some help!
Nice. Good job.
Hey, over here.
Good.
Oh,
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was insane. That was completely insane. We left it in War Room a little while longer to hear how Team Pink Slip was navigating the wipe we just saw. Purple, what went wrong?
you know, Dusty got completely hoarded there, even though he wasn't boomed at the end, so he couldn't move, and he got double punched
Why
with,
couldn't it have been in Vegas when the
I don't know if he got
invasion
double punched with, but that resulted in them killing the tank. Instead of killing the tank, they just died.
Tunnel of love. Did you see
Yeah,
that sign out
that
front?
double boom that went in,
Cousins only day today.
I think one survivor got stuck, as we mentioned, and that kind of started everything off when the tank landed his first punch, right? But then, after that, the support went in super duper, almost like, just not maybe super duper early, but definitely early enough to where they had spawns coming up right at the end of that, and Simba was able to get a great amount of damage pretty much on his own. It is going to be Dusty's tank for Team Lemon Party, but the thing I'd like to mention about UMod and Zone Mod is that Boom Horde is just completely insane.
It is nuts. If you get boomed during a tank, you are going to take a lot of damage.
We have a nice double cap going out right here that almost is a 3 cap, speaking about a good amount of damage, but actually that wasn't a tremendous amount.
Any damage. He took like 20 damage from that.
He got charged, and he not even. He still has like 82 HP.
Reloading.
That
Reloading.
doesn't seem right, but okay.
I think maybe what happened was like the jockey landed right, and then the spit went down, and then some amount of strange god frames happened. I think when the charger landed onto him as well, because he was taking an intercept. That's just one of those weird Left 4 Dead 2 moments. Now, okay, the choice on the survivor side, right? They obviously don't know that it's Dusty's tank, but they could actually decide, since they know that tank spawns in the middle there, the safe play would be to go back, but the other play is maybe they try to get some kind of chip, especially if the SI send this hit.
Reloading!
You know, if they sit here and kill all the Horde, and they run in the room to fight Dusty's tank, none of the SI are set up for that. Like, look where they are right now.
Reloading!
They're assuming these guys are gonna run away.
Yeah, I mean, it looks as though Coach is looking for it. They're set up, and they're gonna make the safe play. Yeah, they're gonna make the safe play and go back, because that tank can probably intercept them as well. The tank is up into the hands of Dusty, 14 Lemon Party. That Boomer's gonna be missing a spawn right there. Now it's gonna spawn up and gets a single boom on to Trice. This charger in the back could wreak a lot of havoc, but is not actually going in. We're gonna take it over to a Team Lemon Party Special Infected Worm and see what Dusty can do on this tank.
You could almost call this the Cement River, Ellis. Reloading.
Let's go in. No, just let him keep going. Alright, let's... Well, didn't even need a charger.
Ready, did we do it?
Yeah. Big time.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That is Dusty committing, getting the wipe right there on that tank in an enclosed area. We saw him land a triple punch. We saw him take advantage of the last amount of common that was trailing in from a free commit 1 boom. And Purple, we mentioned it. If you get boomed, it's a lot higher chance of taking a lot of damage or dying.
You know, it was 1 common twice. Coach got punched that first time because of 1 common, and then they got triple punched because of 1 common. Just sitting there blocking them. I feel like, you know, as soon as you get boomed there, you don't need to be in the tank's face right around that corner shooting him with all of your survivors. You can put the shotgun up there, and you can put an Uzi kind of close to him maybe. But for all of them to be standing that close, I honestly feel like that was part of the reason they died.
Yeah, and I think what they were looking to do is to try to deal a lot of damage to the tank, like, right away, because they were, like, they had 3 Uzis, like, right on that tank's back, like, around when he was getting that corner, and that's why when he turned back around, he was able to cleave and get that triple punch. And I guess they were trying to maximize the damage, but at that point, your other priority has to be getting away from the tank and blocking those residual spawns that are going to be coming in. Still a very close game. The double wipe on map 3 brings us to map 4 with Team Lemon Party leading 1982 to 1440 on the side of Pink Slip, and this is still anyone's game. It's a barn tank, though.
Yeah, it's a barn tank, which I'm gonna say wipes very, very few times. Most of the time you'll take probably 2 in caps there. I don't really think you ever wipe there unless you get tried out.
Yeah, I mean, boomers there can also be devastating because, again, it's a common theme on Dark Carnival where it's like it's either the tank's in a outside position that's pretty good for survivors, or if you can have Horde going in and just bottlenecking people, that's usually a great way to get damage or a wipe. But boomers letting that room is so hard due to the fact they can only come really from 2 spots. We do have a hit coming in here right now with a Hunter landing in the front, a little bit staggered, DP going in as well, getting skeeted right there by Elgod, Insecure going out on that smoke pull, and that was a little staggered, I would say.
They were trying the old let's pounce Dusty then DP him when he stands up strat. That's like an old Left 4 Dead 1 strat where you DP a guy and then send in the other hunters for DPs, so he goes from like 100 to 20 HP.
I mean, that would have been impressive to see, but the first step in that is, of course, pouncing said survivor, and they were not quite able to do that. We do have a boomer spawning up right there next to the witch, and she is aggravated right here. Hunter, boomer, smoker, and a jockey, but the boomer has already sent its vomit. So now it's going to be Dusty probably drawing it back. Boomer just bouncing around, smoke pole going out. This is a little too antsy by the SI. I would say the survivors have all the position right now. And as long as someone doesn't get in front of Dusty's face, they're probably going to be okay. Because I bet he's going to draw it right to that corner. Actually, no, he's going to drop the other direction. Smoker pole does go out as well. Witch is still going in. Hunter waiting for it. And Dusty's going to nail that crown in the corner.
So, the jockey ran in by himself, got instigated by all the survivors looking at that direction. The hunter just held crouched the whole time and didn't bounce. And yeah, the smoker's not going to be any use up front there by himself. That's, you know, like you said, they got antsy and they spawned basically everything up front and effectively did nothing.
And in a situation like that, you need to have things coming from either above the survivors or behind the survivors. Those are the 2 key things, making people turn around to take those kind of hits. And it looks as though Dusty's team are going to bait this right here. Boomer, Jockey, Hunter, and a Spitter for the next hit. And the Hunter looks like he is pre-spawned for a wall kick in the gun room up there where the survivors are going to fight the tank. They need to do a great amount of damage on this, I would say, because so far, like I said, the maximum amount that they've been able to do to a Team Lemon Party has been on those tanks, and not those are the residual hits. And Dusty knew it, but he's going to get wall kicked right here. Spit's going to go down. Boomer goes in as well, and Dusty's going to get jockeyed forward with most of the SI onto him, going for M2s. That looked like it was pretty bad, but he didn't really take a whole lot of damage.
No, the boomer stood right next to him, so it boomed the jockey off of him. So instead of taking separation and possibly like 30 damage, he took probably about 10 or so.
Yes, and the survivors have taken control of the room right here. The tank is up. 14 pink slip in the hands of Reflector. How about we send it over to that special infected worm because he's got to do work.
Actually, safe charging on a minute. Another boomer, what the fuck? Why? I'm fucking next to him, Jesus Christ. What the shit is that?
Simba. What the hell was that?
What the fuck was that? He was mine and you fucking go after him.
Pub strats? I don't know.
He's retarded.
Reloading.
Oh well.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the tank in the hands of Reflector, getting a single in cap plus another couple punches there. But Purple, they did not have the ideal setup for that commit.
Okay,
No, they had the boomer and smoker and a charger, which for that room is not the worst, but pretty close to the worst setup you can get. The boomer went early, got popped immediately because Nick was just staring at the door too, so it was effectively one capper, just the charger.
The Charger then actually took the tank target too. That did damage, but now this Charger's going to lead in, getting immediately leveled. We have a pull and a jockey going in too, and I think at this point the momentum is definitely on the side of Team Lemon Party walking into this event. This event can be treacherous if the survivors get like maybe quadded or just separated, but right now they've got a lot of bonus heading into it, and everyone's still fast.
I hit it.
Yeah, they're still not kind of, I guess, grasping the fact that Dusty is always playing the front, and he's their best player, and he keeps shutting them down. Like, you kind of need to send the SI either from the back or like at the middle guys at this time. I think
Yeah,
it's safe to say you're not really going to cap Dusty with some of these SIs. You have to kind of ignore him.
Yeah, that's a nice DP going out right there, but the other pinners are pretty much dead. Boomer gets spawned above right there, and does get a double boom on to the 2 survivors up top. But as you mentioned, like, that's the kind of thing where you need a very coordinated SI team, I would say, one to like not only recognize that, because it's easy to see if you're getting thrown to the meat grinder, that is, the person thrown with a shotgun, that's one thing. But that's also what the survivors want them to do. They want them to go on that first position so they can also back up when they need to.
Right, exactly. And it's, you know, aside from a few kids here or there where Dusty gets capped, they pretty much take no damage.
Exactly. Charger's going to go in, trying to land, is going to go for someone else, and manages to land onto Nick. And that's going to be a nice double cap, rolling 3 cap going out, doing exactly what we actually just talked about. I think on that hit, they definitely figured it out, because that Charger managed to jump in, land there, Smoker pull from the back with a pounce intercept, and that does help Team Pink Flip's case.
Yeah, see, this is one of the choke points where you can effectively hit not just the front guy, you can hit the middle and the back. So it makes it much easier to do that.
Reloading here.
But they are going to make savings with, let's
Reloading.
449 bonus. I think the maximum is like 1200.
Yeah, something like that. Dusty gets a level on that Charger. That was a pretty good round, I'd say, from Team Lemon Party, especially due to the fact they were still leading. And obviously, you know, that tank is not the ideal tank you want to try to make a comeback on, as we mentioned, due to its damage potential. The thing is now, can Team Pink Slip do the same thing and essentially shut down that tank? You know, obviously it helps if the tank doesn't have the right SI support, but this is a matchable score on this map. Like, there's a good delta between the two teams, but it's not unwinnable by any means.
It's not unwinnable, but it's at the point where the survivor team has to not take damage on the hits outside of tank. I think every map they pretty much take hits where they just take a massive amount of damage. And it really doesn't kind of help at all. Like map 1, they took a bunch of damage to the motel. Map 2, I think they took a bunch of damage after the tank. And obviously they wiped map 3, but so can they avoid taking, you know, damage on this witch here especially? I think this is what matters. If they can kill the witch without taking any damage, kill in this tank with at least 2 guys and 5 punches, then, you know, they might be able to make safe room with, say, like 600 bonus.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the key factor that we haven't quite seen in terms of separating the two teams, is that the major damage that's gone out onto Team Lemon Party has been on those tanks. We do have the first hit coming in here right now, and we do have a Hunter landing and another Hunter looking for it. Quick clear goes out. That's going to be a stumble in the safe room from a double proxy boom, and that was, I'd say that was almost like a wash right there. There's a pretty good amount of damage coming out from the special infected, but everything was pretty quickly cleared.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the smoker, the hunters can't really move the survivors anywhere, so as soon as they get pounced, it's cleared. And they have no spitter, so. But that's still a lot of damage for only 2 hunters and a smoker.
Yeah, in a closed area like that as well, where the survivors were able to clear the way they did, like, that's still unfortunate for them. They took about 40 damage plus the residual common, and now Team Lemon Party are going to have a 2-2 for this witch. 2 hunters, the boomer, and the spitter. So now the question is, alright, do you try to draw her back to the same place Dusty did? Do you try to go to run crown her? But 100's pre-spawned on her already, and she is aggroing through that bush.
You know, Trice ran crown the witch on map 2. Don't want to say, no, okay, so he's trying to actually draw in here. That hunter's dead.
He's going to short draw and gets intercepted right there by Dusty for the full in cap. That is what they did not need. And the thing is, in a play like that, right, and this is what Team Pink Slip did not do on the special infected side for that witch. The spawns, aside from the hunter that was pre-spawned on the front, that hunter came from above and just read that play perfectly.
You know, and see, this is why you sit here and you just go, why? Like, what was the purpose in doing that? You killed the hunter, now they only have 3 spawns. You can shoot the witch and run away, and she won't immediately catch up to you.
Yeah, I would have either liked to see him, like, okay, if the witch is aggroed like that, maybe you run towards her and then control that distance and kill her that way, or you back up. But now we have a survivor split, getting stumbled right there on the special infected side of things. The charger got stumbled as the other two pinners did land with a smoker and a jockey, but that witch in cap, plus this jockey that's getting a good amount of damage on the survivor who's already been down onto that damage bonus. This does not help Pink Slip's case in the least.
No, full end cap for a tank. You're already down 2 sets of kills. You pretty much have to pray the tank doesn't even hit anyone. If you actually want to make this map with more bonus than the other team.
Exactly, yeah, and I think at this point they're looking just to match and then trying to pull something together on the finale. But the tank is up into the hands of Sepia for Team Lemon Party. How about we send it over to that Team Lemon Party Worm as the smoker sacks itself.
You can go in with that if you really want, Sepia. This horde kind of trickles in. I mean, we'll have spawn.
Should go better than you. No comment.
You're so far away. Probably getting smoker. Yeah. It's fine though.
Can you back?
Let's go. It's good damage. See, but I told you just run on the tables to chase somebody.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the tank in the hands of Sepia, getting assisted right there by her special infected support, managing to spread the love pretty well. And now they've got 3 survivors bleeding, 1 set of pills, and the bonus, I think, is already less than it was for Team Lemon Party or close.
Reload.
They've got 50 more points than Dusty's team right now, and I think it's safe to say they probably won't make safe rooms with this exact bonus. So this is going to be another map where they're not actually making up that 500-point deficit. So they have to essentially make finale at this point if they want to win. They'd have to wipe Dusty's team on the early tank and make the whole finale. Well, at least for the second tank.
Right, I mean, but that second tank spawns actually, I think it's a 600-point zone mod. Like,
It does,
percentage? Yeah, so that means that I would not be hedging my bets and letting them make it like that far. Like, I think they actually need to wipe with that first tank and then just trying to find a way to make the map. But we do have the tick going in. Nice smoker pull, and the charger takes the survivor who is up top directly off. The spit is going to land on that as well, and that was their last permanent health bonus, purple.
Yeah, and he went full in cap too. Did he pop his pills before that happened?
I don't think so. I think he passed him over to someone else.
They're not even help coach to pick him up. That's the lead to pick up on him.
Yeah, this is not good for Team Pinkslip at this point. I actually think they may wipe here because this event in UMOD, because again, it's not zone mod or anything like that, you have to take this with the common. Boomer does get popped right there, Jockey Spitter and a Charger for the rest of the hit, but they're trying to work their way forward just through mounds of horde that just goes on them for free, essentially. And they have 1 survivor, Simba, who's at 3 HP, he's scratchable, and you have a couple other, people who are still slow trying to limp their way in the back. And the Charger's gonna spawn behind them, going in, no one was looking at it except for Ellis. The Charger just does whiff right there.
He's floating in the air.
Wait, what? Wait. Where is he? Hold on, I'm trying to find him.
It's floating in the air next to the fence.
Oh yeah, he's literally just caught there, standing over a spray. Dusty he's literally just looking, like, staring at the survivors, going for emotional support of the rest of his team as he just kind of floats there. This is gonna freak the fuck out of Team Pinkslip, I think, as they're going forward. He's just standing there.
They can't even deal with it because there's just so much horde. That's just... Okay.
There we go. There we go, yeah. Him spectating that is probably fine. I don't think Team Pinkslip was quite aware of what exactly was going on, but that was... I haven't actually seen that before, and I'm not sure why it happened.
I've seen it a few times. It seems to be kind of random where if you're, like, on a survivor and you get mouse 2 on top of an object, you just float there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looks as though Team Pinkslip are going to be trying to close that station door as a jockey goes out onto Reflector in the back, killing him off. Hunter's going to go up, going to M2, Rochelle down right there with the help of that common, just going in for those bobbing and weaves. Hunter scratches as the jockey gets a rejock onto Simba, and this is going to put Team Lemon Party into this finale at a just about over 1,000 point advantage if Trice gets killed before he steps in, and indeed it's going to. It's going to be 30-31 to 20-29 going into the finale here.
Yeah, this is at the point where if they don't wipe before everything, it's pretty much. Because then you're down 1,600 points, which means you have to make the whole map with 800 bucks, which is probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and that first tank usually does a pretty good amount of damage. The only way I see it get shut down is if some kind of meme happens where the tank tries to punch the forklift in, somehow AIs, or if the tank goes in, can't secure a corner, and then there's no boomer and you shut down the 3 penners. So something ideal for the survivors. And so far, with the way this game has gone, I wouldn't hedge my bets on any of those kind of plays. The tank, however, is going to spawn as soon as the survivors step out of the safe room. Like, literally the moment they step out.
Yeah, I don't know the top tiers on Simba's team, so I don't know who actually would be theoretically the best tank, so I can't really say, you know, hopefully that guy gets the tank, but hopefully their best tank player gets tank and can wipe them.
Yeah,
then,
I would say Trice is the captain, I know, and then we saw Simba's tank earlier do a good amount of work, so.
So, yeah, essentially whoever the best tank is, you're praying they get tank, and then you're hoping the other team gets their worst tank player.
Yeah, because this first tank, if you have a tank that can do damage, that definitely does help. Boomer spawns up there, changes genders, and then gets popped by Dusty, who has been pulled. Reflector has the tank for Team Pink Slip and is backing up to get that forklift. This is a pretty crucial tank for them at this point, because as we mentioned, the best chance of a comeback would be for him to get this wipe right here. And I think he can't get the forklift, because if he does, I think Dusty's going to push outside.
You know, he's still going for it. He is actively going to try and get this, and he's going to be second pass, probably about 30% rage by the time he even gets into survivors.
That's a good hit, though, to start off. Like, that's exactly
that is a
where
very
he wanted
good
it.
hit, but his next hit will not make it go in.
Yeah. All right, let's get over that Pink Slip Worm and see if he's able to get this forklift thing, because then he's going to have to instant commit.
You should just leave it, man.
Nice shot.
Oh.
Reloading. Shit. Hey!
Hey, come on, right in the head, shoot me like that.
Reloading.
Oh, you shouldn't have gone.
No, no. Don't stop shooting. Hey, over
Oh, nice.
Good shit, dude. Nice rock.
Nice tank.
Great tank.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the tank in the hands of Reflector, killing Team Lemon Party with a forklift that went in after he got his initial down to refill his rage, that tumbled over the top of the Peach Cobbler stand, hitting Sepia, and then he hit Dusty with it. Purple, what a wipe.
That should not have happened. At all. Like, as soon as he punched the forklift and it flew up and out of view, like, they should have just been like, alright, where the hell did it go? But instead, Sepia in the back there kind of just completely ignored it and just ate it in the face. But Dusty does get this thing. So, this in theory is gonna be at least the end or a massive amount of damage for Trice's team.
In theory, yeah, he has spawned just kind of chilling right there. Let's send over to a final Lemon Party Worm for Dusty's second tank of the game.
Tank!
Are you gonna be able to get it from there?
Once you come in, maybe. Hold on. No, probably not. Just go.
That was mine.
Just keep shooting.
Got a hunter!
Heads up. Hey, Hunter, can you stop shooting me?
Shoot it!
Go, man.
Cover this. I'm smoking behind you.
Watch out.
You get cleared.
Kill it. Shoot the tank.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. That is Team Pink Slip killing Dusty's tank. He tried his best to spread damage, but Purple, do you agree with that decision for him to try to go for the spread instead of something else?
I feel like take at least one in cap so you have a permanent leader this whole event. Because like these guys, yeah, they pop pills, but they in theory can just sit there with their last bit of perm HP and not take any more pills. So at this point, they just need to kill the second tank and make it with like one guy in yellow.
Well, right now they're getting insanely separated, actually. We had a pounce go out right there. Now Rochelle is put up top. Again, more chip damage going out, but this is going to be the story of it, right? Because let's say they make second tank with this health, that'll put them in a pretty good position. But Purple, they've been getting hit a lot and getting hit by a lot of damage in addition on these hits between tanks.
You know, they, for whatever reason, it's like no one even communicates on that team. Like two guys run up, the other guys run the stage, and then they turn and look and they're like, why are you over there? And then they get capped for a bazillion damage. But this event, they at least are forced to be near each other, so they might not take as much damage. Maybe.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe. We do have that Boomer spawning up. Smoker Pole goes out. Charger goes in, is going to whiff as the Smoker Pole gets cleared. Boomer gets popped. Jockey gets cleared as well, and that Smoker is going to die. And this is the thing, too, where it's like, okay, who's the tank going to be? It's going to be Sepia for the second tank for Team Lemon Party. And they have... Choose up the pills what's on the stage. Purple, this is outside range doable, I would say, for them.
This is in theory doable. They need to take the next 2-3 hits well. By well, I mean they can't let another guy go full bleed like Simba.
Reloading here.
And they might actually be able to survive this tank, because especially depending on where Sepia spawns. If she spawns in a very bad spot, she's not going to do anything.
Exactly, yeah. That Charger does miss the charge. We do have a Jockey going out onto Impressive, who is the last bit of permanent health right there. Aside from Reflector, he just lost about half of his green HP from that as that boom does land. So looks as though Simba is going to wait to take his kill as long as possible, which I think is the right call. They're still just under 700 points separating the two teams right here, and they still have a good amount of distance left as well. So this tank from Sepia is going to have to do a good amount of work, I'd say, for Team Lemon Party. And the other thing that Team Pink Slip has to be careful about is that they're running around with survivors with a pretty... That's going to be a Charger, though, landing onto Impressive. I was going to say what they need to be careful about is that they have survivors who are about to go down if they get pinned because they were waiting to take their pills. This is the danger now, because they might be about to wipe.
They're actually dead here. Simba is dead, 100%. Reflector might even take enough damage from Karma to die here.
That's insane. That's the wipe. That's going to be
They're
it.
actually dead.
That's it, I think. Actually, the spitter, yep, that's going to be a death on the Rochelle. And that was exactly what they could not do. Everyone was just waiting to take their pills. But I think what happened was there's supposed to be like a lull between the first, like, stoppage of Horde and the second tank spawning, and I think the Horde just kind of kept going in, or they didn't take advantage of that to down people and pick them back up, and that is how Team Pink Slip's comeback is going to be thwarted by the fact they got capped by hits in between tanks, kind of as we mentioned.
Yeah, you know, their theme throughout this match was how far away can we get from each other before we take a massive amount of damage, and I think they found out it was like more than a couple meters.
I'll hold on to these pills.
I mean, they can still, like, draw this closer, but again, the only thing now I think that point differential is going to come into play with is if there were a table for, like, here's your number 1 seed to 8 seed, but I think because the group stage pairing like that, no matter what, they're going to be playing against well, actually, it depends, because Team Warriors is having 3-0 right now, and Team Coaches Academy is 2-1, or actually, no, Team Warriors is having 2-0, I should say. If they get to 3-0, then they're going to win Group B, and that would be the opponent for Team Pink Slip. But Team Lemon Party, it looks as though right now, because we only have 3 survivors left up running around bleeding, are going to be the winners of Group A.
Yeah, I think either Sheep's team is forfeiting that match, or they're playing it with a sub or something, because I don't think Archer wanted to play that game, the last one, especially since it didn't matter. Although, Bravo probably wants to forfeit the match as well, considering he's already out of groups and probably doesn't want to play it, so... I don't know what it is.
Exactly, yeah. And then I do believe, as we see Team Pink Slip get hoarded here on Sepio's Rock Tank, this gives us a chance to fill in about a couple of the other games that we have coming up. Is it true that your match is going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, I do believe so, because the way the scheduling worked out, no one could play like the weekend or something. So I think it's tomorrow. Oh yeah, they just let themselves jumped off there.
Exactly, yeah. But that's going to be a close game here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see these two teams, like I said, both of them have the chance to go pretty far in those knockout stages. But Dusty's team, Lemon Party, are going to get to that 3-0 mark by a score of 3,107 to 2,647. Story of the game, really that kind of separation we talked about on map 2, I would say, and then yeah, mostly map 2 and map 4, where Team Lemon Party were able to make those safe rooms with a higher amount of bonus, or just at all, compared to what Team Pink Slip were able to do. Purple, do you have any parting thoughts before we sign this off?
I would say if I were Trace's team, maybe watch the VOD and see why they lost, if they care enough, and realize that it was because they were always a mile away from each other on Survivor side.
Yeah, I would say so. That like, and that's something that I think is hard to have come together sometimes for teams, when it's like, okay, it's down to not only can you kill the things that are coming at you, but can you put yourself in a best position to kill those things? Because for example, like you mentioned, map 1, they had the multi-cap hit at the motel, and then map 3, they all stood way too close to Dusty's tank shooting it. And you know that's an easy way to give the infected team a way to capitalize if they had the ability to. And also, I would say on the field Witchcrown map 4, same kind of thing, where it's like, look at where you're standing, where the SI are going to be able to hit you, and then what gives you the best percentage to not get completely dunderfucked by a coordinated SI team.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know if they actually scrimmed or even care at all for this tournament, but if they did, I would watch that and see that and try and fix it.
Exactly, yeah, because now they're going to have they'll know pretty soon who they're going to be playing in the first round of knockouts. But we have 4 other games in the group stages theoretically to be played there. I know there are a couple stories of forfeit wins going out, but the one tomorrow night between Purple's team, Bravo Sucks at Tetris, and Team Beach Please, the winner of that game is going to advance for Group D as well. So that'll probably be the next thing that we see tomorrow at, I think, somebody say 8 or 10 Eastern, something like that.
10, I think.
10, okay. That'll be the next game coming up. We want to give a shout out to eFreak, to Mr. Xbye for doing the stream of this game, Purple, of course, for co-casting this, and also to the Found Time organization for the work that they've done. Thank you guys for watching. MVP voting is now open on MavWar.com as well, and we will see you tomorrow night for Purple Here's match.